Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.
2024 meeting to order. Hi.
Just made
We've
it.
got chairs down there and there. That's okay. Here. Calling to order. I don't see any public unless people want to come down from upstairs. So we'll call public comment.
Do you want to pull it to the
But I don't think we have any. All right. So I don't know if everybody had the opportunity to look at the minutes from the September 25th, 2024 meeting. If so, I will entertain a motion to approve them.
I read them, so I'll make a motion to approve. That's second.
We have an approval in a second. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. All right, it's approved for September 25th, 2024. And we're gonna haul along. 2 recaps right away. So Dave's gonna take us through the updates on Hampton Road. We've got a new project manager we're psyched about.
Yes.
Take it away, Dave.
Yeah. So Dave Sharples, the town planner, has joined the project as our project manager. He brings a lot of experience with projects like this. He's also been heavily involved in the town's public safety complex project. So we are really excited. Select Board also at their last meeting said the same. They're really excited, have a lot of confidence in Dave. So that's been really helpful. He's also going to be like our OPM as well. Him and Doug are going to kind of spearhead that together.
Do you want to let Nancy know what open
The owner project manager and right, that's true.
I do actually know that one.
And so as the owner project manager, they'll help us with the reconciliations from our construction manager, just to make sure, you know, if they say like, yeah, the siding has been completed, they'll double check that and make sure everything looks good and what they're billing us for is approved. So they're going to be helping us out with that. Dave's also been in charge of finalizing the contract with Hampshire Development Corporation. Yes, we're still working on that. Right now, it's sort of in the hands of the town's lawyer. So there's really nothing like Dave or we can do to speed this up. But we met with the grant administrators, CDFA, Community Development Finance Authority, and they gave us some language to include in the contract, so Dave included that. Sent it off to the Mitchell Group, the town's council, and they said that we'd have it back Monday this week. We haven't heard anything from Dave. I believe he's made some edits since then. I asked Greg if he had heard anything, and he said that, not to circumvent the lawyer, but he made more edits that he knew were going to have to come out, send it back to HDC. So just trying to make sure, once we get the final approval from the town's lawyer, it then needs to go back to the CDFA. They need to have final approval before we execute that with HDC. So fingers crossed, but it sounds like it will be done this week. But in the meantime, HDC has been in the building, no construction or demo or anything like that, but they've been in there with their subs to just take like measurements and help get more accurate numbers for the MEP, mechanical, fire, electrical rather, and plumbing and all the engineering stuff too. So it's moving right along. We did have a site visit too with the CDFA Friday last week, and that all went well. We gave them a status update as well, and they didn't have any concerns. They were also happy to hear that Dave is now on the project as well. So nothing major. Part of the status update, there's like a financial piece. So we mentioned that the town did have an audit recently. The single audit, and once we get a copy of that, we'll send it off to them. That's like a standard question that they ask all of the grantees. So, and then one last update too for 10 Hampton Road is Dave was at Select Board on last Tuesday and requested approval for not to exceed $60,000 out of the rec revolving for, so HDC, it has subcontractors to finish the design, because right now we have schematic design and we need stamped designs, and they need to hire some subs for like the mechanical, electrical, structural engineers. And if we were to use grant money, we need to follow certain procurement procedures, and because we're kind of on a tight deadline here, we can apply for an extension. I think Greg mentioned that at our last meeting, but we're trying to keep this project moving, and a way to avoid going through all these, like jumping through some of these hoops, is to use private funds, so rec revolving. And the subs that they're hiring obviously are trusted, reputable companies that they work with and have a good relationship, so they prefer to work with them anyways. So that is why Dave presented that last week, if anyone saw that at the select board meeting.
That's what the second page is?
Yes, there should, let's see.
And it was approved, correct?
It was approved. Which one is it? Yeah, it's to Rustine. The motion here, yeah. Yep. Yes, revolving fund request. So, yeah, that was the memo Greg wrote up. Dave presented it there. And yeah, I believe Nancy, everyone was on board with that. It made sense to, not delay the projects
Yeah, I think
anymore.
that was what they really liked about it, it was gonna avoid a delay.
Right. Yep. And that also frees up a little bit more grant money too. So that's exciting. And CDFA was also excited too to hear that the town, we had a match when we applied for the grant. Now the town is putting more money towards it. So they're excited to see that. Even though we've hit some delays, they can still see that the town is very invested in this project and wants to see it completed on time. So they were happy to hear that too. Other than that, I believe that's everything for 10 Hampton. Does anyone have any questions on any of that stuff?
Can I ask a couple clarifying questions? I apologize if I missed it. So Dave Sharples is a town employee.
Yes.
Is it typical for a town employee to take on the role as project manager for a job, for a building in the town?
That's a great question.
He has done that with the new fire department, so yes.
Okay, so is that a cost?
Excuse me, the police department, and he has experience from previous jobs doing it.
So is that a cost savings to the project? Because we're not paying him on top of it to be the project manager on top of his salary, are we?
Correct, yeah, we're not paying.
So is that an ultimate bottom line cost savings because we didn't have to hire an outside project manager?
Right, we were looking into hiring an OPM.
Right, that's why.
And then, that we changed that sort of plan for other reasons, but yeah, so, and that's why I mentioned, it frees up some more money through the grant, so it is definitely a savings, and it removes Greg and I too from the project a little bit, so it's sort of like a third, he works for the town just like us, but it is sort of removed.
Sure. Okay.
And just given his experience too, it definitely is a bonus. Yeah, good question.
Dave, what's the time schedule, something like that, a projected time schedule that when you could maybe physically start moving in?
Yeah, we've been told June of 2025, give or take, but really, we won't know for sure until we get in there and really take some walls down. But the construction management feels very confident about that. So, yeah.
Any other questions, guys, or discussion? Thank you. I'm excited for David to be joining the team too.
Yeah.
He'll definitely add to the project for sure. If there are no further questions or comments on the 10 Hampton Road, we can move on to our discussion items. Planet Playground, additional fundraising.
Yeah.
Looks like Dave has a trifold for us that he gave us
Yeah, there's the
tonight.
trifold. So if you see anything that needs to be edited, please let us know. This is a draft. And then also in the packet is a memo too for the ADA mats. So at our last meeting, we talked about having the mats be paid out of impact fees, and the impact fees that the current balance is $63,000, and the mats are $46,627. So the mats, the goal was to use impact fees, and then additional fundraising would be for the Ultiglide, which was $26,958. Greg also included in here in your packet the quotes too for the mats as well as the Ulta. And apologies, we didn't get this trifold in the packet before. We were just finishing it up today, but took everyone's feedback from last month on the phased approach. Trying to do our best to explain to the public that funding has been allocated for the design and elements and purchase and installation, but what we're fundraising for is one element, and then anything that goes over that could go towards the mats as well. And Greg, I believe I can share this, but he does have a pledge already for $10,000 towards the ADA element, which is
From the Victoria's Victory Foundation.
yeah, I think actually it might be in the packet, so I can share that,
Had something to do with that too.
yeah.
Mrs. Provost.
Thank you, Mrs. Provost.
Yes, and it was her idea. I just executed the email.
We appreciate it very much. The email and the support. That's awesome. Thank you. And did we want to, while we're on this, did we want to, and I don't know if Dan, if you had the chance to put together the motion for us to be in support of utilizing the impact fees, or we can put that together now if you didn't have the opportunity to do that. Let's put you on the spot. I know we had a million
Greg may
things
have
going on.
had
I thought I saw that.
Oh, awesome. Perfect.
Is it right here?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, perfect. Perfect. So if we want to look at that, review that, and see if we all agree, and then we can, here we go.
I would just add, after recreation impact, I would just write fund, or fees rather, using the recreation impact fees. Fee fund, or for people using the recreation impact fees and not to exceed.
Using recreation park impact fees?
Yes.
Fees.
Using recreation impact fees and not to exceed. Or not exceeding, either or.
And just to clarify on this one too, was there, I think there was there a reason we bumped it up to the 47.5? Was that for a buffer, or was that just in case it were rather than the 46?
The only variable was delivery, I believe,
Okay,
of the mats.
so we bumped it for
So I
the,
think you just, bumped it up for that.
right, that makes sense.
So is this memo good to go, or do we need to read that into the minutes as a motion here?
Yeah, so I think we need to, because there's a change in there too, we need to read that in and make the change. So the motion to recommend that the purchase of ADA mats for Planet Playground enhancements be brought forward to the select board for approval using recreation impact fees and not exceeding $47,500. Do we need to put this in as the rec advisory committee supports Parks and Rec? Asking Nancy, how does
I
that?
think it's kind of a given if you're voting to recommend using the fund.
Okay,
But you could, it doesn't hurt to add it if you want.
and I think it's fine how it is, I just want to make sure that when
Yeah.
it gets to you guys.
No,
that
I
you're
mean,
okay with it.
so you are going to make a motion, and if it passes, to me that says that this committee supports.
Okay, perfect. So if someone wants to
And I'll be there
utilize
to
the
reinforce
motion.
that if anyone questions.
Yep, I can do that.
Perfect.
I move to recommend that the purchase of ADA mats for playground enhancements be brought forward to the select board for approval using the recreation impact fees not to exceed $47,000, $47,500.
So we have a motion on the table. Anyone second the motion?
I second.
Any discussion? Questions or? All right, we'll take a vote. So all those in favor of recommending that the recreational impact fees of $47,500 be used for the ADA mats for Planet Playground enhancement, be brought to the select board, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed, say nay. All right, ayes have it. So the motion is approved for Greg to take that, and we'll just have them make the change with the word fees in there. And then he's good to go. Thank you. All right, do you want to continue on anything, Dave, for the additional fundraising that's on here? Is there?
I would just mention that our goal is to announce this week and with a Halloween parade this Saturday, have a table down there. As you all know, we're a little short-staffed, so Greg, myself, and Riley will all be really busy, but we hope to have at least a table with our, banner on there. Greg did get a nice banner too with the design on it.
Oh,
and I think our website, and there is a QR code on there, Nancy. It was before, is it okay if I just briefly mention the QR code? So I don't know who it was, but someone from Budget Recommendation Committee.
Hold on.
Yeah.
He's very knowledgeable about security issues.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of opportunities for scams with QR codes. People can throw their own QR code right over a QR code, and unknowingly someone scans it, and then their bank account is, So it makes a lot of sense. So we're probably going to move away from the QR codes and just put our website, go here to be a donor. But anyways, the banner looks really nice. It has the design on it. And we'd like to have these trifolds down at the parade just to start kicking off the fundraising event. Hey.
Don't close it.
What are the additional plans around us filtering these out, making sure they get out, areas where, events or things like that we're going to be on that?
That's a good question, but actually, let me backpedal a little bit. I was just saying Saturday we'd like to have these out, but we probably, Nancy, want to present this to the select board first because we are requesting to use impact fees for the mat. So just in case those plans change, we want to update this before anything goes out.
Yeah.
So I think we'll put that all on pause, but that'll be a good discussion.
Today's Wednesday, so you want to reach out because they're doing the agenda for Monday.
We're going to be
So you can get
November 12th to present this.
Okay, so you've already spoken with Nico and you have a slot.
I spoke with Melissa and
Okay.
she said, can we move it to November 12th?
Okay.
Absolutely. Gives us time because one of our other biggest events coming up is the holiday block party. So if
Right.
we have a table
Time to
handing it
get
out.
There you go.
What's the date of that?
November.
The holiday block. Oh yeah, it is in November. Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's early.
Yep.
Oh, it can't be.
All right,
It's
now,
before Thanksgiving.
it's after Thanksgiving.
Okay, so
We'll follow.
Thanksgiving's
Yeah.
you'll have your time in front of the board before
Yeah.
that, so good.
So this doesn't stop from discussions this weekend, right? This is still it'll be pulled out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just discussions for this. Sorry, what was that?
At the Halloween parade?
Well, I don't think we would be sharing this at the parade because just in case the select board would prefer us to fundraise for everything, then we need to change this. So,
Yep.
yeah, before we publish anything, want to make sure we have everything finalized. But where else else were, I think that was about it about Planet Playground.
These look really good. Did a nice job.
While we're on fundraising, if the Victoria's Victory Foundation donation is a given and known, I think we should really get that out there on social media.
Yes, they are actually, and Dan and I have been in communications with them. They're going to craft a statement, how they're behind it to help others, and just mentioning it to two other nonprofits, they're interested in matching what they did.
That's perfect.
So I think we could have lined up
Thank you, Mrs. Provo.
25, 30,000 easily in the next couple of months.
That is great.
So the board likes to recognize things like this, but just so you know, because you won't be in front of the board until November 12th, it probably won't come up before then.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to disrespect you, this is very generous.
We won't be getting the funds anyways.
And we have to go to the board anyways to have those approved.
Correct.
Will they, do you think they'll be ready to have them approved on the 12th as well, or is that
Well,
too quick?
on the 12th, I was going to get a fundraising and mentioning Victoria's and Project Walk.
Okay, and
That way
which
they-
one?
Project Walk.
Okay, yep. Oh, great.
So it's a match. So Victoria's Victory Foundation, Victoria Arlen, Paralympian, ESPN personality, her foundation, and her mom's foundation, Project Walk, are matching $5,000 each.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and they're located in Stratham, if you don't know, above Bootleggers Project Walk. So I didn't know that until after.
I didn't know there was anything above bootleggers.
Yeah, they're right behind Starbucks. You'll see
Yeah.
Project
I
all
go
the
to
way the right
bootleggers,
side.
I did not know that it was there, so, okay. Good.
So
Yeah, it's very generous, it is wonderful.
this, there, and Dan can attest, because I'd rather have other people talk, because I can barely talk. They're all about accessibility. So,
Good chance to educate the public about them.
That
So-
is exactly right.
Right, so if somebody, you for instance, can attend the select board meeting with Greg or whoever's gonna present this to the select board, and we could maybe ask you some questions about this organization.
Yeah, I think probably they would want to come as well.
yeah, I would probably invite them as well.
Yeah, this is what they do.
Right, and so just talk to me, because I
Yeah.
can only make suggestions, I don't do the agenda. So, but I think it would be a good way to educate the public.
Yeah.
Maybe once that part of it's done to maybe execute.
And that's one of the things with the sponsorship, there is going to be signage that is going to really call out and show who is actually donating the funds.
This is very generous,
yeah.
and it's good to recognize.
So,
Yeah.
and that it made Dave and I had conversations, and I don't know if you guys got to them. Since it's such a generous donation, do we want to start that as layering of sponsorships? Dave?
Yeah, we briefly talked about tiers, sponsorship tiers. Because in the trifold, you'll see like donors will be recognized with customized signage at the entrance of the park. And then I think I reworded it like top donors would have their plaques there. So we were just trying to think about, like someone who donates $5,000 versus someone who donates like $10. We appreciate every cent, but how do we recognize what's appropriate? So we kind of wanted to ask the board, what you all thought were appropriate.
And we were thinking 5,000 would be the platinum, because that is any business that will donate or organization that will donate 5,000.
5 or above, and then like maybe like $4.99 down to, I don't know, 2,500, 2,000, whatever you all thought was appropriate, and we can kind of table that. We don't have to come up with numbers right now, obviously, or we just have some sort of everyone is recognized too. Well, we definitely want to recognize everyone, but do we go with like the tiers, or do we just?
I think tiers might encourage people to push it a little bit. I don't know what thoughts are, but I think tiers tend to, encourage people to push their limits
And really highlight those that are willing to give a large amount for this project.
Can I ask a question? I don't know how you came up with the names on the monument and Founder's Park. this one, right? You did a fundraiser, and there's kind of a monument with people's names etched in it on who gave.
On Townhouse Common?
Not, I said the wrong,
Yes.
I knew I was saying the wrong
Yeah.
part. Yes. So, I don't know, you're trying to come up with ways of recognizing, and I don't know what you've used for those.
The story
decisions.
Doug told me, the town planner solely ran that project. Peter,
Before my
yeah,
volunteering.
and so they just wanted to recognize those that really
So
contributed.
we don't know if there's there was an amount.
Because if anyone knows where Townhouse Common was a couple houses. And that got torn down and built. The house was owned by Indian Head Bank. If everyone remembers Indian Head Bank in the New England area. And the only stipulation in the trust when it was sold to the town was no banks would be built there. I think we have enough banks in town.
I was born here and I don't remember buildings
Yeah.
in that lot, but I'm sure there were, I just don't remember them.
Yep.
David, I think to your point, I think it's appropriate to recognize people at different tiers. I think that's okay. And I think especially because Victoria's Victory and Project Walk are both certainly donating money, but also expertise and like PR and networking. And so it's not just about the money; it's also partnering with them. I think has extra value as well.
I was gonna say, I think it might be nice to say Victoria's Victory Foundation is a founding sponsor.
Yes.
Oh, that's
I
nice,
like
because I was
that.
starting, I like that. I like that.
First up to the plate, so to speak. I like that.
Yeah, the hardest job is packing the snowball, right? And then you just keep
You know
rolling
better
it.
than I do. I only
right.
dream about it. I only get ideas. You know how to execute.
And then some tiers kind of can send them to kind of mapped out of like platinum, gold, silver, bronze, like 5,000 plus platinum, $49.99 down to 2,500 gold, $24.99 to 1,500 silver, $14.99 to 500 bronze, and then we could do like just additional.
Yeah,
tiers
what
like
you
that.
Friends of.
Friends of.
Yeah.
Friends of.
Yeah.
But I like Mike's idea of founding.
Yeah, I think that's a great word on there.
And we did have another donation kind of for Planet Playground. Is Kiwanis Club is sponsoring 6 benches. So there'll be 6 brand new benches. That's one of the things we talked about is not having seating there. Well, Kiwanis Club stepped forward, especially with the UFO Festival, and generously donated 6 of our memorial benches, which goes through our memorial bench program. So, yeah.
That's great.
That's awesome.
So they'll get a little placket on there, just like they did. They did the benches at Park Street as well.
So the way this is presented here, am I correct in interpreting this that the short-term goal is 26,958 for the Alta Glider, and then phase 3 after spring 2025 is to collect feedback and continue to raise money for the additional? Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Or would this be dependent on how quickly the fundraising efforts took off? Because if we had the money sooner, we could probably continue with some of the things we thought we had to table.
Right.
Well, we wanted feedback from the people first to see. We just don't want to spend money on shade if it's not.
Right. We talked a lot about fundraising for the shade structures, and then we were like, well, should we collect feedback and determine if we actually need that, or do we need something else?
Okay.
But offsetting the mats, I think, are important
Yeah.
to save impact fees for another use in town, because obviously, as development grows, we get more impact fees, but we also have other parks that are even online or need
Yeah.
enhancements.
Yep.
Because I'm sure this will gain a lot of momentum, and to take a pause and collect feedback, only to then ask again, it may sort of lose its novelty, I guess, so, or momentum, but.
It sounds like feedback's the best way. I read in the minutes that was discussed in the last meeting, so that sounds good.
And talking to our colleagues in Amherst, they did the exact same thing for a playground they built, and so a year later, they're like, oh, we need a shade structure, much smaller than what we were looking at, but it was $50,000. They raised it in 3 days.
Wow. Okay.
So it's those park users, I think, that will contribute the most, and those that see the impact of what an accessible playground will be for the.
Sweaty park users.
Yeah.
We'll donate quickly. Okay.
That's right, what other questions do we have, guys, about the fundraising fund program? Any?
You asked the question last, the installer, I think I might put it in the packet. Installation is free as long as we order it with the entire playground.
Okay,
So he'll include it for free.
okay,
Because we told him it's a fundraising effort, and he's like, I wouldn't even charge you.
that's great.
Because then he joked though, he goes, well, I'll charge you for the install of the shade structure whenever you want to do that. I'm like,
That's enough, so I'm excited.
And staff did backtrack, I heard you ask about why we asked more. It is for free, and David clarified that. Mike McGuffey, who is US Playground Surfacing, who is the patent holder of these mats and the distributor, the mats will stay the same. They're always $79.99.
Okay.
Not gonna change. He goes, but the freight is the.
Okay.
He goes, we can't guarantee
So they're-
gas prices won't skyrocket
Right.
by the time we order them, or so.
Perfect.
He's like, just put in. I think it's an extra $500. I think,
Yeah.
So just to cover our bases, but we won't expend that. He said
Perfect.
they've been pretty stable. He said the last year and a half.
Madam Chair, may I ask a question?
Of course.
If so this funding gets approved, when would you order them and have? Would you order them and pay for them, and they just would wait to deliver?
No,
Or
I
would
would
you have a
wait.
holding area for them?
They'd come on several pallets, so I would rather not move them. They're readily in stock, and so we could order them and have them here in 2 weeks.
And that would hold the price for you?
Yeah, he said the price is definitely not.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good discussion. Thanks for those follow-ups, Greg.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, concerns, discussion about Fun Playground? All right. All right, let's move on to Powder Keg and Chili Festival review and update.
Dave, I'm gonna let you kind of.
Okay, yeah. So first, thanks to everyone who attended and or volunteered for the Powder Keg this year. It was a great day. Weather was fantastic. Everything was wonderful. The one feedback we've heard, and I'm sure all of you have heard, was just not a lot of chili vendors. We had 4 this year and 3 dropped out last second. So we were planning for 7, ended up with 4. But we already have a plan in place to help with that next year. We're looking at a stipend for restaurants that would bring chili. So $500-$600, because before it was always donated. And we required 35 gallons of chili. So that, along with staff time, that adds up. Restaurants are still very, they're recovering still from COVID. And just given the industry, they don't know if they're going to have a chef or staff, so it's hard for them to commit. And we've even thrown out with the chamber ideas of like, do we collect a deposit that they receive when they come, just to kind of hold them into that, because we could ask them and we could get 15 restaurants say, yeah, we'll be there, but if there's nothing holding them to that, and then the week we saw it last year too, I think a couple dropped out last second. So part of it is the industry, but it is a beer and chili fest, and we don't want to change that. A lot of people are still coming for the chili. We sold a lot of DD tickets, but people come, they tell us, we're here for the chili.
I think this is the highest DD year we've had.
Yeah,
Chili.
it was almost 600
Yeah.
ED tickets and U tickets. So,
Yeah.
and we heard it. We did a survey. We heard it in the feedback. We knew going in that after they dropped out, we were going to hear it. But at the highest peak, and Mike's probably been at every one in the chili zone, we've had 10. So it's not like we've had an overabundance of chili. Last year, in 2023, we had all 4 the chili vendors serving chili till 3:30, 4 o'clock. So just the difference of 1 year and a couple dropping out the last minute is a big difference.
Yeah.
So, and we talked to several of the restaurant people already that were down there, and they said absolutely, that would definitely be a bigger thing, because now they don't have to put out their own money to donate something. And I think that's a big thing, because one of the local restaurants here said that they buy from a commissary to make sure it's consistent, and they have to pay $32 a gallon. Multiply that by 30, you're talking almost $1,000 donation. So we would lower the level and say, hey, here's 500. But this also would open up to civic organizations as well. If they have access to a commercial kitchen, the American Legions or any of the churches, like, here you go.
Masons too.
Mason, like, if you have a commercial kitchen, here's a stipend, make some, promote your organization, and you could walk away with a $500 prize. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer for them. It's a good way to give back as well as a civic organization.
I have a question on, so they're having, in part, a hard time with staff. I don't know what how you're doing with volunteers, because I'm always in the same out front. Is it possible, conceivable, to ask people to volunteer to be servers? Or is that not possible?
We feel that we are just on the brink of having enough. And even like looking at, and you two were at the front as well, added more lines to have them move in faster, because when you sell 3,100 tickets, and you spend $45 on a ticket, and you have to wait 40 minutes to get in.
I think we did all right with the VIP. We weren't doing all right with the...
But we are going to shift the numbers too. One thing that David didn't mention is we're adding actually 250 more VIPs. So that is going to drop general admission. But so it should be, but if we have 4 to 5 lanes going in, I think, and a bigger holding area, we should be able to process them more.
Well, holding area seemed okay this year. That was bigger because of the ducks.
Yeah, so it definitely was a lot bigger, but we just want to make sure people enjoy the experience, and that's why we're also talking about dropping the attendance to $27.50.
Can we consider porta potties just a couple, like before people check in? So we're not having to let people walk by, and because people were like crossing their hands to make sure they came back out, but then they, it got a little confusing.
Yeah,
So
no, we can put one out front for those.
I just think it would be helpful to not have the traffic going.
That's why we added them to the holding area too.
Yeah.
Because people were like, I really gotta go, and I'm sitting here for 45 minutes to an hour. So yeah, we can easily put one out there, because I believe the porta potty company is interested in sponsoring as well. They brought their whole crew,
as long as
and
you can show
they wore all the uniforms, and they're walking around. So if we can get a porta potty sponsor to offset that. So
I think the stipend for chili is a great idea, because I like beer and I like chili, but I was bummed that there wasn't chili.
Yep.
And the labor required to set up chili versus pouring beer is huge.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, we can carry their chili to the table, but it's a whole different ballgame. So I think it's a fairly small outlay to keep the festival what it's a beer and chili festival.
So is this chili festival intended partly to raise funds for the town, or is it purely just pulling the community together?
no, well,
Yes, and
three factors. Fundraiser for Parks and Rec in the Chamber, because we've been asked to come up with alternative funding. So obviously this was a record year. 2, an economic driver. When you have people from traveling in, I heard statistics from the Downeaster, pretty much the trains coming both north and south were almost sold out. People getting off the train and walking down to the Chili Festival. Which was
Really?
outstanding.
and the lines to the restaurants were
And
enormous
it really
this year.
drives up the merchants. Even Dan Chartrand says this, it's the happiest clientele walking around the bookstore after. So, I mean, people are going and shopping and everything. Do we have a few bad apples? Absolutely. And the Exeter police have done a great job on it.
Yeah, really had an issue this year.
But at the same time, it's also a great thing, you look at it, a lot of people from Exeter buy tickets. So they almost call it like a high school reunion.
It's a class reunion.
It is,
Absolutely.
You see people like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in a while. So I actually find it really ironic where I'm walking around and I see former summer camp staff in there enjoying themselves.
drink
and,
now.
Yeah.
But it is funny how people will tell us how far they've traveled.
Oh yeah,
right.
we had the
I
guy
mean,
from Germany,
Yeah,
that
New York
came in
and St. Louis, and they love telling us that they try to come every year from wherever.
Pre-COVID, we
It's great to
attracted
check
people
people
from
in.
26 different states.
Wow, I didn't know that. So what's
Yeah.
the third reason?
Third reason, really, it's this is way back. We were primarily doing kids events. And they're like, we need an adult-centric
Adult
event. And that was our first thing, because when we started it, it was only on the green space in front of the pavilion down in Swayze. We said 1,200 people. We said we didn't even know if we'd sell 1,200 tickets. And we sold out that first time. We were lucky to get 25 breweries, and we had about 6 chili vendors. So it was a great time, and we learned and have kind of tweaked things as we've gone and made it, try to make the experience better. We are the most picturesque beer festival
True.
around. Everyone else is in a parking lot,
Even when it rains.
even when it
Yeah.
rains.
True.
It doesn't discourage people. That's wonderful. They come in smiling, they leave smiling.
And talking to one of the distributors, Vacation Land out of Hampstead, this is the only festival that he really pushes his brands to attend. He goes, it's not worth it, because a lot of them, we have an unusual system where we buy all the beverages. Most beer festivals will go because it's a charitable thing, like, hey, would you donate yours? And it becomes a burden because not only are the breweries, it's costing the breweries money to produce it, but it's also they have to provide staff. Because most breweries do not want volunteers pouring their product because they can't explain what it is. So they want, it's like, oh, this is mosaic hops with a citrus and pineapple IPA. So they want to be there and promote themselves. And so Vacation Land brought 27 brands, and only 5 of them, they had to staff with their own salespeople. The rest of them, people came from Vermont, Rhode Island, Connecticut, drove up just to pour this one-day event.
It was great.
And
Did
all
we-
the more reason to subsidize the chili.
Yes.
Yeah.
If we subsidize the beer.
Yep.
Right.
So it sounds, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
It sounds like the popularity is due to a number of reasons. The environment, the scenery, the quality of the beers, and I guess the chili as well.
And the volume of the vendors too, because we had how many beer vendors this
Technically
year,
80.
breweries? Yeah, so it's gone from 24 the first year up to 82 beer vendors. And
Yep.
so the lines aren't as long as they used to be.
Yep.
We've learned to move people along very quickly.
Yep, you move them along, you spread them out, and we already know we're gonna tweak and Dan was there, tweak how we set up the tents, we're gonna spread them out more. We may kind of get rid of the kid zone and make it just, because it's really cornhole, so just condense the cornhole boards down on one end, and really try to spread it out there, and we also have our house band, as we call them, Maddie and the Penders are coming back again. And they're a big promoter of ours as well on HEV, and it's a former deputy police chief is their bass player.
I didn't know that.
I don't know how difficult this would be, or if there's a way we can do it, but is there any way that we can stream the music down to the front so it's going? Because it would be nice for us, because
Yeah,
we can only hear like that set, but it'd also be awesome for people waiting too.
Years ago, we did hire a sound company. We can look into that as well. That they ran a cord right down and had a remote speaker.
That would be awesome.
If you do though, we've run into problems where we've had to call someone's name for help. So maybe more walkie-talkies
Okay.
or something, just to throw that idea out there.
This year, we were extremely short-staffed.
Yeah. We
So-
will.
I
So if
wondered-
you're watching, we
Yeah.
can use volunteers
Yeah.
every single
That's why I
It's
was
fun. You get a
wondering
free
if stuff
ticket, you get a free t-shirt.
Well, the chamber was down 1, and
Yes.
we were down 1.
Yeah.
But we also had our intern, which he's been phenomenal, so.
Yeah, I mean, some of us worked bell to bell, just like
Yep.
from the beginning. I mean, it was great, it was fun, but we definitely could use lots of volunteers.
But I can't give the official number, but we definitely made about 11 to 13,000 more than we did last year.
That's great.
Do we have a coffee vendor in there?
Ooh, that's a good
We did.
idea.
Yeah,
Did we this year?
okay. But the thing is, a lot of the people setting up, because we all get there an hour
Yeah.
before we can even set up, and we're helping people direct them into set up, and they're all walking to Anthony's for coffee. So I wonder,
We actually recommend they go downtown
and they do,
to support the breakfast places.
but I will tell you, getting there early, I park away and
Yeah.
walk down, and a lot of our local places have lines.
Yeah.
So that is great to see. I just wondered about, for people setting up.
There was a coffee vendor.
Yeah.
I was so exhausted, I tended not to go
Did
any
they come
further.
early? Did they come
Good,
early?
good fundraiser for a high school civic group. Go get some box of Dunkin' Donuts and stuff and
Well,
sell.
something, so just, it's an idea,
that's
how
a
can we
great idea.
help with that? So, yeah.
Yeah, not a bad idea,
Yeah.
because they could, yeah. Tim? No, they'd be awesome. I mean, they're so great. I love the kids that are in your group.
But yeah,
too.
if
They're
there was
awesome.
like a club from the high school, like, hey, I want to fundraise. Dunkin' Donuts probably would donate coffee.
And Jennifer's also checking, and Renee are checking on the age for volunteers, because I was talking to her about, we have a whole bunch of kids that have to do volunteer hours for setup and this and that, but where they're handling, potentially handling things and stuff like that, but we can have them handling the tables and stuff like that, and I know Dan's group is usually
Anything to
looking for
save
stuff
our
to do
backs, I
too.
would-
Yeah. So she's gonna let us know age minimum, or age minimum for that, and then we can really put it out to some groups that either need, and all you have to do is, either Greg or Jennifer, all you have to do is sign off on their volunteer hours.
If they're not handling alcohol, they'd be all set to do.
Yeah.
They're checking people in with their IDs and stuff.
How did you come up with the 27,500 number versus 31,000? And do you feel that that reduction would affect, the...
No, we looked at it, what we give away for, because that 3,100 does not include volunteers or sponsors.
Okay.
So you total those up and it's about 250 tickets that we give away.
Okay.
So that's why we did the reduction. Yes, but we also, if we can get commitments from restaurants, we will increase it $5.
Okay. But it sounds like it's for a better experience for everyone, so it doesn't get so packed.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
you're still getting the revenue that you
Yep.
need.
And
Okay.
will
you
you
also
offset on
increase the
VIP?
And if we increase the VIP, which that...
Because that's $20
Yes.
more per.
Yeah. And people that, no matter what on social media you read, oh, it's so expensive. We are the cheapest festival in New England.
Yeah.
So, give you a case in point, Prescott Park held theirs at Cisco. Is it Cisco? Okay. I was gonna call it Red Hook.
I wish it.
2 weeks later, and their general admission was $15 more than ours.
No.
That's a
In the
lot.
parking lot.
In the parking lot, yeah, you don't have
Yeah.
the breathing area.
Yeah, and so, and their VIP was about $20 more than ours.
Yeah.
So take that.
So maybe next year for the volunteer list, and I might be the only one that's too exhausted to participate. But, because I enjoy watching people leaving and making sure they don't have the alcohol. I didn't even make it to that point this year, but
They were good
anyway.
this year, I was surprised.
Yeah, she did. So when we sign up to volunteer, if there's a way that we can check off that we don't need a ticket to participate, that will free you up it might free you up to be able to sell some more tickets. I don't know. I don't know if I'm the only one that typically doesn't participate. I can't eat chili and I don't drink beer, so.
But did you get french fries?
No, I didn't even get that this year.
Oh.
No, that's my
Their
budget.
line, all the food truck vendors had enormous lines as
Yeah.
well. So
Which
they
is
did
good.
I just
very
kept
well.
trying to get people in because they were fine, but I kept saying, I'm sorry, I'm not making eye contact, but I'm trying to get you all in as quickly as possible.
I was just trying not to get people's hair on
Yeah.
their bands. Yeah, so I think that'll be great. We'll find out ages, and then as we get closer, and tickets are already
No,
soon though, right?
they will be, we're hopefully to have them finalize it on sale after Thanksgiving.
Perfect, which is awesome for
So
stocking
people can
stuffers.
buy.
There you go.
Yeah, great stocking stuffers.
Really, that's soon.
Yeah, we actually had, we had a couple come in that we were saying, oh, when do they go on sale? We said before Christmas, so they're stocking stuffers, and we were like, all right, that's gonna be your stocking stuffers, so, I think it's great to do that. All
We got
right,
some work to do though, to be
Yes.
sure.
yeah, for sure. Right. It was great though, besides I got the chili feedback too, but other than that, everyone said it was awesome, so really enjoyed it, so.
And we did, one thing we did add, and this sped up our cleanup, is our foreman Scott Thomas had suggested doing service lanes for all the tents. And we were all be able to get behind the vendors, and we consistently picked up their recyclables
Oh, nice.
the whole day. So we didn't have doing big runs of recyclables at the end of the night. So we got out an hour earlier because of that. And we do know we need to get a second recycling dumpster because we filled the whole dumpster of recyclables.
Yeah. That's great.
And Casella donates that. So we don't pay for any kind of trash.
Like, even with the glitches, it's a great event.
No, I know, I mean, clearly it's a lot of work, a lot of planning, but the success of this one single adult event kind of makes you wonder, like, may we not want to consider a second one?
Oh, I've always talked about doing
We've talked about other.
that, or like a wine event, like Alex Sprint.
I want to do an adult prom.
Oh,
Yeah, I think people would really get into it and find a good venue.
I think that would be really fun. We could do that.
And there's other ideas I have, but
Have we ever, do we do, off topic, do we do a senior prom?
No,
That would be so
no,
sweet.
yeah, we've talked
like a
about
soft
soft
prom.
prom.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like, that would be, that's another discussion for another day, but I mean, that would be great.
Yeah.
It'd be so great.
And one
Have
thing
their old
that-
music, all their old music.
Speaking of,
too, yeah.
no adult, all adult events don't have to have alcohol, but I did have a generous donation a couple years ago from a prominent brewery if we wanted to pursue doing a beer garden at fireworks at Swayze and get permission from the trustees and the select board, and they would donate all the product and we would just have to man it and sell it and keep it in that little contained area, and we could make a very good amount of money.
So similar to your beer garden for the festival?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Which fireworks?
The festival beer garden, I keep going to call it the Revolutionary Beer
Yeah,
Festival.
but we would have it down closer to where that new turnaround will end up going in that way. And
So in the park itself?
in the park itself, so people can sit there, we can bring down some tables and chairs and they can watch the
You sell
fireworks.
tickets for the beer garden down there, or is it like?
I would say you come in, we ID you, you have a limit of 3, no
Right.
more, and then just get people go moving in and out.
Okay. That's actually a great idea.
And I guarantee this same brewery would donate everything. And let's say it's very 4th of July-ish, if you can that.
Okay. Any more discussion, questions, suggestions around parking? All right, nice job, guys. It was really great. Park improvement requests 2024.
I made up a little memo just to go over something going on November 12th if you guys agree, to get approval for some park improvements funds. First being, it's been on our docket for a while, the Gilman Park infield replacement. We've gotten 3 bids. Mission Turf is the lowest out of the 3, based here in Exeter. And Dan and Mike is very familiar with this. It's not an infield, it's just loam that we kind of dress up to make it look like an infield. It doesn't really drain well, so what this would do is replace that infield mix dig down 8 inches, replace it with native mix, edge it, and make it look like a real T-ball field or coach's pitch. So that one is a big upgrade. And then at the same time, if you're familiar with the terrain of that little field, there's some good bumps, and so we would level it off a little bit area. We'd throw some grass seed down. We don't have irrigation down there yet. That's future endeavors, but at least it would kind of make it a level and keep that really unique feature of left field going uphill.
I was gonna say, you gotta have the left field hill.
Yeah, yeah.
Duffy's Bluff or whatever.
Yeah. So,
but there's a pretty good sized hole in right field.
yes.
And like, you don't need a pitcher's mound there,
Nope.
but it would be nice if it wasn't like a pitcher's dimple.
Yeah, yes. So that's
So Frankie will take care of you.
Yeah, that's the goal, if you guys are up for it. But the second one, I think, makes the bigger impact, especially after we had the facility assessment last year. And just doing the minor renovations to the exterior really brought it up. So if you're not familiar, the town had the facility assessment done. And basically it said that building it actually is 50 years old. It has a life expectancy of 10 years. I've had various conversations with contractors and facility guys here in town, especially one that works at Phillips Exeter. It has good bones. There's no reason to replace it. It's a seasonal one. And if you look at the facility assessment review, it says, oh, in 10 years, you're gonna replace it for $1.2 million. We can't, again, I've told you this, can't justify spending that on a seasonal building. So some things we would like to do, and we can do a lot of it over the winter ourselves to prepare for the major transformation. One is remove the cement partitions, and I have photos in there if you have never been in there. They actually will free up more space in individual stalls because the cinder blocks are 6 inches wide. As well as the ones for the changing stalls are 4 inch. Get rid of those. Go in the concession stand. We're gonna gut the concession stand that has wooden shelves and countertops. And this will also allow us to kind of rearrange and move some stuff to make a better flow.
You're gonna be consulting on this?
Yes, she's had discussions.
We already have plans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The kitchen design?
So then we would go and redo all the flooring. So the floor, and I also have a picture of the flooring, I believe, in there.
Yeah.
It wasn't a proper application of epoxy. There's one picture of what it could look like in there, but it's a blue green.
It looks so much better.
Yeah. So epoxy company would come in just like any garage, they'd grind it down, they'd put this proper and put the flakes in there to slip resistant, so it would be the same color scheme as the outside. So we're gonna carry that color scheme from the outside in, and then when we take down the partition walls for the changing stalls and the restrooms, we would get a poly partitions to go in there. Our guys can put them in. We found a very cheap place online that we can order and have it delivered. So we found a similar company. Their sister company actually is where we got our doors last year. Super cheap, really good product. But the things that aren't noticeable, and one of the things being a 50-year-old building is the last thing would be is one of the other things is relining the original cast iron pipes. We've had them looked at and examined in a couple years ago, if you remember. We've had sewer backups. We didn't have sewer backups this year, because we put the proper flow in, but this will eliminate anything that would snag it, or if a cast iron pipe can easily break. Just rust out and rot. So this would insure it for another 50 years, and we wouldn't have to ever worry about it. It would be a one-day process. They'd come in here, it's like a paint they put in there, and you've probably seen it. It's about $15,000, and they would protect the guts of the pool house.
It seals it from the inside.
Yeah, so we wouldn't have to worry about that, and then we're just beautifying the inside, making it nicer. But one of the things that's important here is putting a mini split in the concession stand area. One, it's a very harsh conditions, Jen can attest, it can get up to 95 degrees in there at some points, which is also a struggle for not only the staff, but our equipment. Like our ice machine can't even keep up if we wanted to produce ice because it's so hot. So what our envision is, there's a couple mini splits that would be removed from 10 Hampton Road and repurposed at the pool. So we just have to get someone to hook it back up and then repaint all the interior to match the exterior. We can either, right now I have estimates for $500 for paint, which is low, probably closer to $750, but we would need staff or volunteers to do it, or we can go out for our quotes and get a painting company to come in, which it probably can do it a lot faster than we can, and volunteers. So that one is, that has to be done, but I can come back to you on that one too. So in total, if we did the ones that purchased new partitions, epoxy floor, and relining the cast iron pipe, comes to approximately, in the infield, $56,500. Our current balance of the park improvement fund is $97,202.32.
I can move this along and make that motion. So I move to recommend the following projects be brought forward to the select board for approval on using the park improvement funds. Gilman infield replacement and the Dan R. Healy Reno Phase 2, which includes new partitions, new epoxy floor covering, and pipe relining of all existing cast iron pipes.
Should we add the amount into that as well?
Yeah,
Should we add at the end, Alex, not to exceed $56,500 at the end? All right, sorry, Dana.
Nope, you're right.
Again.
Not to exceed, do I need to start over?
Nope.
Not to exceed $56,500.
All right, so we have a motion by Dan, and a second by Jen. Sorry, Mike. And all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Bring it to the select board. All right.
Can I throw a few questions that, so when you come to the board?
Please
One, I want to remind people that you're able to do this now because of 10 Hampton Road. And the safety that was concerns for the kids before. And two, I'll just want to ask or have some feedback on the day of service when they painted the outside of the building. How long did that take? And is it a possibility to use that the next time? You don't have to answer that right now. They already closed it with a vote. I'm just giving you a heads up. Those would be two questions.
It only took one day to paint the outside, except for the higher.
But would the inside be
Find
equivalent?
people to paint inside.
We can find the people to paint inside.
Would the same equivalent one day?
Maybe if I had enough volunteers.
Okay, sorry everyone, it gives me a heads up.
Ideally, it would be best if we would be able to paint before the partitions go up.
Yeah.
That way we don't have
I
to.
just think it's really important to remind people that you're able to do this with this building that is 48 years old. And, right, because we purchased 10 Hampton Road.
Yeah.
So it took a huge safety issue out.
And there's a couple things that on the docket that we'll come back to later is spray pad repair and resurfacing. So we still lose 200 or 300 gallons a day through the spray pad. It leaks. We know some elements don't work. So cutting open the concrete, getting in there, fixing it, reconcreting. But one of the things that Dave and I saw at Nationals is there's a coating they can go over that's very festive, that seals it, that's rubberized, slip resistant, make it look nice. Park Street Common infield replacement is another one. And I think Bob will like this, 2 rebounding boards.
I like that.
Yeah, to replace the one that we have at the tennis courts. So it's just a board. They're made out of poly. They're expensive, but they will last forever.
Awesome.
It's a good investment, right?
Great investment.
Yeah.
And it's for both tennis and pickleball.
Correct.
I think one important point to sort of piggyback on Nancy is that the staff that Greg has, the foreman, or I don't know exactly what their titles are, is it Scott or Jason?
Scott.
Scott, he has so much expertise to do a lot of this stuff. That is such a cost savings, not having to hire people. So I think in addition to you saying we're getting to Hampton Road, also the expertise and having really good, solid foremen and the guys that do the heavy grunt work for the Parks and Rec department is also an enormous benefit. That is, they go way beyond mowing and
And it's always good to promote things like that.
Absolutely.
But if we can have a day volunteer, those guys can do fill in somewhere else.
Yep.
Too, right? I mean, I'm always for making sure the public is well aware of our staff and how lucky we are and great.
And then also at the pool, there's also 2 other things that we will eventually do. The roof needs replacing because half of it is 22 years old. Half.
I'm not touching it.
And then if anyone knows that there's fogged out windows up top, that's a really, we would redo those and put new windows in to actually have more light come into
They
the.
always remind me of the tuckaway, the bathhouses at the tuckaway.
Yep.
Those lights up there.
Yep, so those are 2 of the things that we want. And once we rearrange the concession, and you may wonder, oh, we're tearing up. So most commercial kitchens you go to have stainless steel. So it would be stainless steel tables that we could rearrange and move and clean under. Right now, these are built-in counters and
Not my sanitary.
and when they epoxied the first time, they didn't even remove the toilets, so they epoxied around the toilets. So it was a hassle. So we're gonna do it the right way, and we're gonna do it and make it look nice. So in 2025, people will walk in and say, "Wow, it looks good." Looks good. Yep.
Well, the Gilman Park stuff is great, because there is a whole large group of young baseball players in town.
And if we're lucky enough and it goes to the select board, puts the park improvement on and it does pass, one of the focuses is to focus on Gilman's more, finishing the guardrail on one side. We just had a volunteer make a ADA ramp to the pavilion, so now you can roll up to it. Put electrical down there as well as at Park Street. So future thinking with the robots working so well, that could be an avenue. But also for irrigation, you need electricity. So, and eventually if we want to have some kind of possible bathhouse or a porta potty, not a restroom at Gilman, where these concrete structures, that they come in precast, boom, done. Hook up the electrical and your septic and you're done. You know, you're not building it from scratch. It comes in one piece, done.
I don't know if it's get clean.
We would have to have staff go over and clean it. But
I don't know where I'm getting the idea that they're probably very expensive in another country, and I picked it up
No.
somewhere where you have them and they're self-cleaning.
Keene, New Hampshire just put one in downtown.
Oh, did they?
Yep. Right off of their trail system.
House.
118,000.
Oh, my.
Yeah, they really do.
But it's self-clean, it's self-cleaning.
Right, you have to factor in everything, right?
Yep.
What it would cost to clean and when it would, that would pay for itself.
Keene did it because they promote their bike trail a lot. They have a very nice rail trail. They bought a bridge to span over 101. That's how much they're into their rail trail. And the business owners downtown were complaining because the bikers would come in just to use the restroom. So they're like, well, they're not being patrons. So to solve that, the city of Keene said, you know what, we're gonna put it right at the the trailhead. That way when people come off, they can go, oh, here's a bathroom. And it automatically locks. And there's surveillance cameras on the outside so they can see if anyone goes in. There's no cameras inside. Just to let people know. But I'll talk to my colleague over there, who's the deputy city manager, and see how it's going. But they've made a big investment, and that could be possibly something here down the line.
Might not be a bad idea to have it downtown too, or,
Swayze,
yeah. Potentially.
potentially.
All right, any additional information, questions, or conversation on park improvement requests?
Just, is the one town working at the rec?
No, all the water meters have been pulled. Yeah.
permanently or just, you know?
No, the hard frost last week, DPW likes to get ahead of things.
Okay.
It's normally not 70 degrees.
Correct.
Right.
Or 80, like it was the other day. So, I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's something I was out, when I was out sick, Dave's like, hey, they want to know if they can pull. I'm like, yes. Go ahead and pull.
So they reinstall them into the...
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Oh,
Yep.
yeah, I just didn't think, I thought it
Yeah.
was broken or something.
But no, Bob, good, we're going to have to put signs up to say closed for season.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right, Greg is going to be jumping in front of budget, I think, next week, right? So we just wanted a quick budget review and update.
Excuse me, November 6th. I'm presenting to the ERC. We met with our subcommittee and went over everything. This is as bare bones of a budget as you can see. I'll go right down now. If we start in the recreation section, sorry, let me get to it. Recreation salaries are up because they are proposing a 5.1% increase. And that's it. But then we also have a senior, as we mentioned, a senior coordinator position that we are proposing for this year. There's only 2 new positions proposed in the budget this year. This is being one of them. It's a part-time position. It's budgeted for 29 hours, but we actually would only schedule about 25, so that way if we have special events, we can fluctuate our schedule a little bit. We would use $5,200 out of the grant to help offset some, and then half the salary then what was left over would be, half would be taken out of the rec revolving fund and half would be taken out of the revolving fund.
Why are we not using the whole grant?
That's going to programming. Yeah. So that makes our salary line up 10.1%, but we are adding a part-timer. And then benefits total obviously is out of our control. We do have a change of benefits plans for a personnel plan, a personal, but everything else is...
That's going to go up significantly.
Yes.
All of them have an FYI.
Yeah, but that also, they went from a 2-person to a family, so that's why ours jumped up too.
Yeah. But across the board, just so you guys are aware, the 10% that's factored in is not 10%. It went up a lot higher.
Yep. And then the rest of it is level funded. So we kept $5,000 in there for senior programming because we didn't want to look like we're eliminating programming when we just got the grant. So we want to continue to fund that programming. Mailings, dues, office supplies. Now granted, these are very conservative amounts too. Office supplies, that doesn't cover really our entire office supplies. We take a lot out of our general fund. It's paper for programming, printing, all kinds of stuff like that. So that is just for like some paper and pens and so.
But Nancy and you guys would do general needs.
Yes. Yep. Parks, right now, per the contract, they're up 2.5. That number is a little different because obviously we've had a change in personnel. So that makes it look like it could be higher, it could be lower, we don't know. We're going through the hiring process now. We do have a candidate that we made an offer to. We're going to be coming to you on, yes, yeah. So, but then you look at also, we have to, because we have an open position, we have to budget for a family plan. So that we don't know what the person would take if they accept the position. So that inflates that one. So it looks like that benefits portion is up 84.3%. That is not accurate. But the rest of it, you go down, level funded. One of the things that we obviously are hoping that the contracted services come in the same as last year. With no change of ownership in one of the companies we use, we're hoping their rates stay the same. But as we've always said, our goal is to get our guys off the mowers as much, and the robots have helped us quite a bit. And I'll be presenting that data to the BRC as well, like saying how many hours we've saved. And then, yeah, vehicle maintenance is the only thing we added because our vehicles, surprise, surprise, are getting older. So we had our one-ton truck that we use for leaf collection actually had a recall that the part's been on back order for almost 9 months. So that will need to be replaced. They did a fix, but the fix isn't going to be permanent, and we're going to have to replace the fix and the back. So more and more of that will be coming down. So it was an increase of $500. That's it. And I did decrease signs because we're pretty good on signs.
I like that. Fewer signs this year.
Yeah.
Let's give you a hashtag.
Where are the robots?
Fewer signs.
Robots come out of our rec revolving fund.
Okay.
Yeah. Last year they had asked to take some of our contract services out of rec revolving fund. We came up with the inventive idea of taking it, using robots instead of contract services. It actually was less than anticipated. So
that's accounted for.
yeah.
So I'm curious about the 18.7% increase in the health insurance rates. Is that an industry-wide phenomenon you're seeing? Because that's a big jump.
It's highly unusual that it went up that high.
Yeah.
In the past, it's been lower than 10. We usually do a 10%.
Yeah.
Just as a placeholder, it's been lower. This is the first time in I don't know how many years, but it's really high.
Yeah.
And we're in, it's like a marketplace.
Yeah, so as a municipality, we're in what it's called like an insurance pool with other
That's the word,
municipalities.
thank you.
And so
Yes, that's a term.
depending on the amount of claims municipalities have had for health insurance and stuff like that, it just, it all depends, so,
Wow.
yeah.
Watch the budget process meetings. Everyone gasps when they get the new totals.
Yeah,
It really does, it's taking a hit on the budget.
yeah.
Wow.
That's why we've tried to be very conservative through all of this. And then lastly, the only thing I've increased in recreation and other culture, I haven't increased this budget ever. So we are 25% increase in fireworks.
Yeah, baby.
$2,000 increase. Not all going to fireworks, Dan. So last year, our fire department encountered some hostile residents walking in that area. Even though we had barricades, caution tape, signs, and a fire truck blocking it, they walked around it. And the sign said, "Caution, do not enter, explosives ahead." It's fireworks. So the fireworks company's like, liability-wise, you need to have more to stop it. And talking with the police chiefs, Deputy Chief McCain, who comes from Portsmouth, basically, when Portsmouth holds it, the minute the fireworks go on site, they have a detail officer. No one's gonna mouth off to a detail officer standing there and just saying, "Hey, sorry, you can't walk your dog down the trail today. Could you please exit?" And so, but the fire department, Deputy Chief Fritz has been down there because he oversees the fire department, the fireworks. So he has been one that had to encounter those people, and just to make it safer for people, we just want to have a police detail down there from, and they get there about 11, and they don't leave until 11:30, 12. So people that think fireworks stop at the end. So they have to make sure all of the fireworks are accounted for, and they have to make sure if there's any duds that they detonate. So last year, if you saw the fireworks, we had a boom, 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 boom at 10 minutes after. That was them. Some of the shells didn't go off, and so they had to fire them off. But also, they sweep the area because there's been fireworks displays in other places that a shell has gone up and didn't detonate and fell. And so you got to make sure that's accounted for. And just to let everyone know, I actually got some pricing on drones to look at, and you would gasp at the price. So it's it's extremely expensive
To buy the drones or to get the service?
to have a drone show. Have you ever seen a drone show? Disney does it
In lieu of fireworks.
in lieu of fireworks. So it's really cool to see. But that $10,000 you see, you almost have to quadruple it for a 15-minute show.
Greg, is this line the entire, do you shoulder the budget of all the fireworks? Or
Yes,
is this?
that comes out of the special events budget, so.
Right,
under-
but I'm just saying, do other departments contribute?
No. No.
Hence why there should be a beer garden, and we turned it into a money maker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the amount of people that go to the fireworks, I think the beer garden would be a very good fundraiser. Yeah.
I agree.
I have one question on wages. The overtime isn't increased at all. With a small crew, do you think there may be more overtime?
You know, overtime, so, all right, overtime for that line primarily comes for mowing, leaf removal. Overtime for prepping the pool, and next year I don't foresee. So when we painted the pool, there was overtime, because they had to be in there, and once you start painting with epoxy paint, you don't stop until it's gone. I don't foresee, we historically, Mike, we don't really use a lot, I make sure that we're efficient on that portion. And anything that is important, we'll finish up, but it may be a few hours here and there.
Any further questions or discussion on budget? Thank you for going through that, Greg.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
It should be a very short ERC presentation, seeing it's not really anything there. But hopefully, fingers crossed, we can have more updated numbers for the 6th, but don't know yet.
Any more questions or discussion points for our budget, guys? New business? I think we covered.
I just wanted to bring up, again, Saturday, Halloween parade, if anyone's around and would like to be a costume contest judge, let us know. Show up around 10, probably leave around 11. It's pretty easy commitment.
1 hour.
Yeah, I have a couple members from the senior council who will be there. I did ask a group of students too from Phillips Exeter who I'm working with to do some programming for older adults, so they may be, but yeah.
AM or PM?
AM.
We're not as fancy as Portsmouth and do the night parade.
Trick or treat is on the 31st this year, and everybody always asks, so.
And there's trick or treating after our Halloween parade in the downtown.
Yeah.
So downtown merchants will be handing out candy.
Is Ricky Bobby going to be there?
Thank you,
Might
Marty.
be.
Are you judging? Do you need judges?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
10 a.m.?
Yeah, I'm perfect.
So you can do grade 2 and below.
Yeah. No conflict of interest.
No conflict of interest.
I know, my daughter
And third
said, I
graders are
do, but I
above.
feel bad.
Are you going to judge?
Yeah, 2, I already called grade 2 or below. I can't do any of the kids that I already know.
Oh, come on.
I gotta do kids I don't know.
And the high school always participates as well, so. And a reminder, those watching, we do have a new parade route as of last year. It's a little shorter, but we actually go up the street breakaway. So traffic flow works better and the officers are able to stop traffic easier, so.
Well, the weather looks perfect for right now. Keep my fingers crossed
Yep.
it stays that way.
All right, any more new business? I think we're caught up on that. Any old business? I think we touched base on.
Yeah.
Anything else? Oh, it's that time.
Have we set November date? 'Cause I know we're not meeting the night before Thanksgiving.
No,
I was hoping not.
I won't be here, but y'all can have it. Let's see here.
Thanksgiving is late. Isn't it?
It is really late this year.
So it'd either be November 20th, the week before,
Or
December 4th isn't that getting in the night before the,
That would be the night before the holiday open house.
yeah.
November 20th.
November 20th work, and I mean, unless we have to, we may want to jump December unless we may need, actually, we can talk about stuff for
Yeah.
December and November, and then I think as long as we get, the mailbox
Yep.
situated and all of that, to recruit our elves and everything like that, so.
So I don't have every meeting. I just, Swayze's at 5, so you're fine for that, but who checks with Pam
I
in the
do.
morning?
Yep, I'll check. Oh, and we have our senior luncheon on Friday.
This Friday?
Yep. It's a Parks and Rec special of American chop suey, garlic bread, and Caesar salad.
So I've never been to one of those. I moved to Exeter about a year ago, so maybe I should try that. So is
Yeah.
it this Friday, did you
This
say?
Friday.
And where?
It's at Town Hall.
Town.
We do want to remind Danielle, no offense, 1 week prior to for reservations if you wanted to attend to eat, but we're always looking for volunteers if you want to come in and see
Okay.
us. What's the entertainment?
We have a company, I draw a blank on their name, but they're coming in to talk about like Medicare open enrollment and scams that are around that. So this is more of the educational presentation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next month is a musician.
Who sings about Medicare?
So it's once a month.
Yes.
Looking for
Once a month.
volunteers. Okay, so,
And Dave and I are making the American chop suey. So, in my previous role as Parks and Rec Director in Milton, New Hampshire, I cooked for 100 seniors monthly.
wow.
So,
Okay.
Are you
All right.
requiring costumes for that?
no costumes. We'll be busy enough trying to.
So do you use the kitchen at the senior center?
Yes. We're making the base for it tomorrow, and then we're gonna cook the noodles on Friday morning and mix it all together. And we got steam tables, and put it all down there, and we gotta throw the garlic bread in the oven for a while, get that ready, and then the Caesar salad is good old market basket.
Nice.
Perfect.
Yep.
It works.
Yep.
Awesome.
And we're doing this for far cheaper than we would if catering. So we're gonna try to do a few of these to save on money.
All right.
I just think they appreciate knowing that it's cooked for them
Yeah.
and not catered.
Yeah.
All right.
And my American chop suey is really good.
We're gonna have to ask them that.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to take a poll. All right.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
You're getting slow. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? All right. We are adjourned. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.